Hi all. Today is Wednesday, February 8th, and it is currently 11:08 p.m. And I obviously just got out of the shower. I know you missed this look, and it's been a while since I've filmed with a towel on my head. Well, today was a lovely day. I woke up pretty early, like around 7:30, and hung out, and I Skyped with Brian. And and then oops, sorry, my screen dimmed. Then I went out, I walked the dog, and then I caught the 172 line, the bus, to Tel Aviv, and I got off a little bit earlier than my stop that I should have gotten off on, which was like the best mistake I ever made, because I walked into the store where they were selling everything Judaica and everything Christiaica, whatever you call Christian memorabilia. um, and they had tons of great things in there. So I bought a plaque that says "Shalom, y'all," totally awesome, and a Seder plate, and that was it in there. But anyway, the guy that I met in there was like the friendliest guy ever. So like we started talking about Seder plates, and then I said, people here, whenever I ask about a Seder plate, they're like, "What's a Seder plate?" They've been shocked. Because I guess they don't really use them like the way we use them, or at least my Seders. And I told that guy that, and he was like, "What? Who doesn't know what a Seder plate is?" And I was like, "I know, right?" So we started talking, and we talked about the difference between pewter, whatever you call it, and glass, and then he was talking about plastic, and then he was talking about size, and whether or not there's an English part and whatnot, and then he asked me if I spoke any other languages, and I said no, and he was shocked, and then I asked him if he spoke any other languages besides English, and obviously Hebrew, and he said yes, he speaks Lebanese, or whatever they speak there, and Arabic, and French, and Spanish, and English, and like, best English ever. And I was kind of hesitant to go into this store because it was right before Tel Aviv, when you get into like the really more touristy part. So I was thinking, this, like, people barely speak English here, it seems like, or at least they're too lazy to speak English, or maybe it's just me. But I go into the store and talk to this friendly gentleman, and I was like, "Hi," and he was like, "Oh, you English?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Do you speak English?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do." And so then we just started talking. He had incredible English, incredible. You could tell he was a really intelligent man. Anyway, he's from Lebanon. He moved here after the 6 Day War, when he had to move out of Lebanon because Jews weren't really welcome there. So talked about that, talked about the store has been around for 70 years, so it's been around before Israel was even Israel. Um, his great granddad, or maybe his dad, or somebody owned it before him, and he had a picture of it in the store, and there was this other old man in the store who didn't talk at all. And at one point he got up, the other old guy, to turn off the music because there was music on really like faintly. And the guy says to me, who I'm talking to, he says, "Can you believe it? He doesn't like music. Who doesn't like music?" And I was like, "I know, right?" So then we chatted about that, and like pretty much everything. He had a French accent. And he reminded me of Mr. Z. He was the Lebanese Mr. Z, and it was awesome. Like, it was like just with that stop, I was already in a great mood, just because he was so hospitable. So then from there, I went to a couple jewelry stores, and then went to another jewelry store and bought some jewelry. Then from there, I walked down to the shuk, and I walked around in the shuk, and I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but that's how Max and Sagi keep saying it, so I'm just going to call it a shuk instead of a shuk. Um, so anyway, walked around there, um, try to find stuff like art and whatever, but it's more limited here. I think the reason why I'm having trouble finding art, the art like I found on my last trip here, is because I bought most of my art pieces in Tzfat, and I'm not going there. And that obviously is an extremely artsy city, and so I'm having trouble finding it. But maybe I will tomorrow, and I'll tell you what I'm doing tomorrow in just a second. I'm going to say that for the end. Keep you hooked. Anyway, walked around, found a couple people that spoke English. I ended up talking to this lady about her husband works for Alel, or whatever the Israeli Airways is called here, so she gets to travel all the time. And so she's been to Vegas and Los Angeles and San Francisco and New York, and I told her she should come to Colorado because of the mountains. And so yeah. Then after that, I went out and had shawarma, which was amazing. And then I hopped on the bus and went back home. Um, and then I hung out here and I Skyped with my dad and I Skyped with my mom and talked to Max. Max and I watched Straw Dogs, which was pretty intense. And then Max and I went out to go get stuff to make dinner. And then I came home and my headphones were chewed to pieces. Look at this. First of all, I'm not going to say anything in here about my feelings about this dog. But at least now I don't like the dog at all. But look at this. This is what a headphone should look like. Thank God I have one. And this is what the dog did. It's a Skull Candy headphone. Okay, my mom bought these for me. She paid good money because whatever. You know what? I'm upset still. And you know what sucks? Is that I bought a pair before the trip to give to Zoe. Or I bought a pair before the trip to use. And so I brought 2 pairs with me on the trip. 2. Because I thought, what if something happens and I need another pair of headphones? And then Zoe lost her little, rubber doodad on hers. So I gave her my extra pair. And who got screwed? This gal. Anyway, this is like turning into like a giant vent session. So Max and I made dinner, whipped it up together, a little bit American, a little bit of not American food. It was like, this is going to sound so weird, but here's the thing. Everything here is expensive. So I decided, expensive, really. So we made pasta. Again, I made that last night. And we were waiting to get cheese from the butcher, but it costs like $2 for 100 grams, which isn't that much cheese. Even though that doesn't seem so expensive now in my head. It costs like $2.50 for a little bit of cheese. Okay, anyway, whatever. So anyway, I said, why don't we just go get a tub of cream cheese and put that in our pasta sauce? So we did that. Max bought some chicken. We bought pasta. We bought a couple cans of tomato sauce. I put like 5 to 10 heads of, no, I probably put 10 to 15 heads of little like garlic cloves in the sauce and chopped up an onion and put parsley and it was delicious, and put the cream cheese in there, and then he made like breaded curry chicken and put that in the pasta. Weird combination, or at least it sounds like a weird combination. Actually, it's delicious. So that was that. We picked up Siggy. That little devil dog ate my headphones. Ugh! Anyway, so right now I'm about to get ready for bed, and I'm going to bed pretty early, actually, because tomorrow I have to wake up super early because I'm going to Jerusalem. I actually booked a tour, and I'm going on a tour to Jerusalem. So that way, I just need to figure out a way to Tel Aviv, so I have to take a bus and a train to get to Tel Aviv, and walk, but that's okay. Saving a lot of money that way, and the tour is going to take me to all the great places. I get to go to Mount Herzl, which I remember being just so beautiful when I went there last time. Of course, the Kotel, which I'm really looking forward to the most. And Yam Vashed. That doesn't sound right when I say that. Yam Vashed. Yad Vashed. Yad Vashem. There we go. I totally got that one mixed up. Wow. Anyway, I took a couple sleeping pills, so maybe that's why I'm feeling a little off. I hope you all have a really good night. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. I love you, Grandma. I love you, Grandpa. I love you, Grandma. And whoever else is watching, aunts and uncles, cousins, friends, I love you all. Night-night.